Ancient warriors are leaping into action. It appears Ice Bearer is not far behind. We have more Cyber Dragon Vacuum. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more content. So we're starting off over here, man. I'm telling you, people are tossing these White Forest cards into every little deck that they can push these into right now. And I question the ideas behind this, but today we have Ancient Warriors in combination with this. Now, for those of you that know, I mean, Double Dragon Lords is an incredibly strong card. It actually allows you to do some incredibly nice plays, but including some of these Diabellstar cards, or Snake Eyes cards, White Forest cards, being able to get access to some of the traps and things like that. This little package was supposed to streamline this deck and kind of upgrade it. I mean, let's call it what it is. You know, Ancient Warrior is not by far up to the current standard of what I would even consider the better meta options to be right now. Though, however, this list is kind of cute. I love that we can test out some ideas like this, so we'll have to wait and see if this performs a little bit better later in the week. Next up, we have some Ice Barriers for you. I'm really happy to know that they got the Alt Art medallions in here. Now, in terms of what in the world is this deck supposed to do, I would like to thank my dear friend General Ryo. General Ryo is supposed to come off of the new big Ice Barrier Synchro, and it's supposed to shave away those resource options from your opponent so that you, guess what, you can actually build a board and be able to play the game. That was always kind of the gimmick with this deck. I think it's cool that Ice Barrier did get a showing out here, but this deck's age has been showing a lot. You know, General Ryo is a very answerable boss monster at this point. And while you might think, oh boy, you know, I'm getting cards out of my opponent's hand. If your opponent wants those resources gone, you're going to have problems because then the graveyard's going to start ticking around, and that's going to be an issue. So, cool deck yet again. All right, we have Cyber Dragons. Now, this build is some of the good stuff. I do see that we are only playing one of the named Cyber Dragon monster in the main deck, which is fine, but you're also going to notice we are doing triple core in here. That's been a little bit different than what I've seen in some of these builds. I think that core is an extremely powerful and needed card, and, you know, if you're telling me you don't, well, I mean, you know how to play Cyber Dragon? I think the card's very good. You're also doing Therion Regios plays in here, but most of this is going to be the Chimera Cyber Dark plays, kind of start the engines and get things going. And then, you know, you're just going to attempt to OTK from there. You're not doing a lot of the crazy standard stuff, and you're also main decking the Heavy Storm. Your purpose of this deck, go second, slam down, and checkmate your opponent literally as fast as possible so that you can actually win the game. So I'm really happy, like I said, to see Cyber Dragon has been doing so functionally well out here. Next up, we have water for you. Now, you have more rank up magic shenanigans in here, which has been, once again, yet interesting to see that this has been showing up. Now, in terms of the shark play out here, you know, this deck wants to be able to set up, do all the exceed plays, do all the standard good stuff that the shark deck kind of did before, but you know, we're still going to use the full armored rank up package. You just haven't gotten any new cards, but you're also going to kind of hide behind the water barrier statue, because the water barrier statue is a very ignorant card. The only real deck that's going to, you know, kind of interrupt you dealing with the water barrier statue or having it deployed is probably going to be Crystron, and unfortunately that's another issue. All right, if your opponent tends to have it, well, you can go ahead and kind of call it a day. So another cool deck. You know, I'm loving the fact that we are seeing so much love out here for the rank up magic Barians. I just didn't think we would ever see it again. Next up here, we have Ryui. Ah, yes, how this deck has just converted on in to an anti-meta challenger out here has been, you know, pretty cool to see. You do have, I mean, you're maximizing on the scales. I mean, makes sense, right? You know, you want to be able to set these cards up. You want to be able to, you know, kind of have the universal scale system going. In terms of the names in here, I mean, you're doing 2 blue, 2 green, and 1 red. Red's not exactly the greatest in the world, but we're also playing the melody of the Awakening Dragon in here. That's a much different thing than we've seen. The last time I seen melody showing up out here was actually during the Blue Eyes era. And the fact that we are seeing that come up right now is hilarious. This extra deck's also freaking funny. What, triple Varutus, triple Gustav Max, you know, all these Stardust out here. Okay, I see you. You really can do some stupid things out here with the Ryui pile. You just got to let people kind of explore with it. All right. We also have Vanquish with Regenesis, and I got to tell you, this build started to show up out of the Chinese deck list that Weibo post, and I was very, very curious to see if this was going to stick around. And it looks like more and more people have been trying to figure this list out. I think it's a cool idea, for sure, being able to actually use the Vanquish Soul cards in combination with these, but also, you know, technically if you want to do some 2500 attack point interactions and play, you know, the counter trap selection that you have, you can actually do so. But this build is actually choosing not to do that, which is fine. We're also doing 2 copies of the Torah, 1 copy of the Regenesis spell card. You know, it is more compressed to be more of an optional package. I think it's fine. I think a lot of people, once again, explore this deck. I think this has been by far one of the coolest experiences that I have seen coming out of the Alliance Insight meta, and I wonder if it's going to stick around. All right, we also have Orquest, Allure Queen. Excuse me, what in the combination are we? Oh, I see Tomahawk. Never mind. Alright, it's always going to be something broken. You know, for as insane of a card as Tomahawk is, you would have figured that maybe the OCG would have broke that card. But no, actually. He has been a little bit more fair in the more recent years. I think the card's kind of broken when it does resolve, but, you know, it's just one of those cases of, you know, we can test out things like this, and you can get some cool results. I wouldn't normally think about tossing, you know, the Allure Queen support in with Orquest, but, you know, somebody out here said, hey, you know, this is going to be the deck I'm going to test out for this event, and if it works out, well, then, you know, we're going to get something really, really cool, and that's exactly what we got here, so that's awesome. Next up here we have Runic. Now, Runic in the OCG has evolved in a very, very crazy light. When they printed the 3rd Dominus trap card, I don't think anybody was really going, oh boy, you know, Runic. I was thinking more like Blue Eyes, you know, maybe as a side deck card, you know, more of the, you know, the spawn some tokens off of the ancient city, you know, all the little stupid stuff with that. But no, of course, Runic said, hey, you know, we can have this Dominus card now. We can search for all these extra Dominuses cards, and now we can actually play this deck in its full disruption form. And that's why you've seen people going towards this creature of a deck. Also, OCG does have triple copies of, you know, Card Demise. So it may or may not make a major difference that they could just slam down and get this streamline going out here of advantage with that. Kind of broken, actually. Next up here, we have more Regenesis. Now, Regenesis has been showing up as a very strong anti-meta deck, but you also see this build is playing the Dark Spirits Mastery. I got the chance to talk about Dark Spirits Mastery a little while back, and I think it is a really funny card. The fact that you can just slot it into this deck and you're able to play it is kind of crazy. It does prove that, you know, the best searcher that the deck has going for it is slotted up in the Fiend Monster. All right, like, we understand that that card fundamentally gets this deck going. You are doing some Nadir Servant plays in here, which is really, really good. You also do get to see, you know, the rest of the Regenesis stuff kind of coming together. But yes, this deck is a very, very nasty creature in the way that it paralyzes the opponent. You know, bringing back all these forms of interruptions. It's just meant to grind your opponent out and then come back and OTK for the dub. And then our last list here is Exodia with Orquest. Now, the fact that you're choosing to play a 60-card Exodia pile with, is that 10 8 Mulch armies and 10 two maxis. Yeah, that's crazy. The fact that somebody cooked this up and said, yes, this is the perfect deck for me. This is not normally something I would think about working out with, but hey man, we'll take this. It also just kind of proves that there's so many interesting ideas out there that you can throw together that, okay, I'll take it. So what do you guys think about these crazy lists? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.